Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Hi, welcome back to the Unspoken Truth. I am your girl, J Black from J Black and Co. And I am so excited to talk about today's topic with my girl, of course, Kyna B with Simply Kyna B. You can follow her here on Insta, and her at is Simply Kyna B. If you are watching here, then you're already following me on J Black and Co. here on Instagram. And let's talk about what the unspoken truth is while we're waiting for Kyna to come and join me live. The unspoken truth is where Kyna and I take the issues that coaches face whenever they're trying to build a sustainable, profitable, scalable business. We take those challenges that they face, we help you face them head on. And let me do this. We help you face them head on. and we give you the resources, the tools, the information that you need so you're best armed to face those challenges and continue to grow your coaching business. So, hey, Kyna.
Hi.
So, we're talking about, like I said before, are you ready to host an event? Now, why are we talking about this right now? Number one, it's coming off of a very exciting event. Okay, so we love football very much. We're both Cowboys fans. Don't at me. Don't at me. I don't need it.
Ditto.
Don't want to hear
Ditto.
it. So we don't need to hear that, but we both are. So we watched the Super Bowl, and of course, everyone is talking about the halftime show. So that's one reason why it's very timely for us to have this conversation. And the second thing is because we're about to enter into event season. Even though events happen all year around, you'll start to see them happening more often. You'll see a lot of advertisements coming out during the spring, the summertime, the fall. You'll see it more during that time, whether it's going to be virtual or in person. You'll see a lot of it. And you'll probably be, tempted to do your own event because you're like, yes, I want to do it. And it's fun. It's fun. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Whole lot of work. But it's fun whenever the actual event is there, the energy, all that stuff. It's fun. And that's understandable. But are you, as the CEO of your business, as the owner of your business, as a coach, are you really ready for to host an event? Are you really ready for it? We're going to talk about that today. So, but before we do that, let's talk about the Super Bowl halftime.
Just for a second.
Just for a minute. Now, I'm not going to get into all the social, political, what did this mean, metaphoric, blah, 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 blah. I'm not talking about all of that because you can see 50 million people break that down. So you don't need me to break it down and tell you what my thoughts were, even though I thought it was genius. It's genius. This is what I kept saying. I was like, he is so cerebral. It's not, but he said that on an interview he did with Apple Music, just for a second. He said he was doing an interview and he said for us to expect, because they asked him, what can we expect from this halftime show? He said, storytelling. And did it not tell a story?
Several.
Right? Right. But okay, I digress. But looking at it from an aspect of him being a business owner and a brand, was he really ready to host a Super Bowl halftime? And a lot of people were going back and forth and saying, he's not mainstream enough. He's not, um, he's not, he doesn't have enough hits for everyone that's interested in the Super Bowl. Everyone who watched the Super Bowl. He only has that hit, not like us. Even though he won a Grammy for it, that's just one Grammy, some people would say. So is it enough? Is he broad enough to host the Super Bowl halftime? Have you heard that, Kyna?
I definitely heard. I heard that a lot. And as and speaking to our audience coaches, you probably hear it too, that you're not one of the gurus, the big players. And so, Jay, keep going.
So, so my thing is, and I posted about it, how his halftime show can connect to coaching. So you all can check it out, can read it. But I think from the perspective of today's theme, you have to know your audience.
Absolutely.
Knowing your audience. So let me back up. So my thing about if you are ready to host an event, you need an audience. That's number one. If you do not have an email list, if you don't have active followers who are sharing your content, who are commenting on your content, who's engaging with you on social. So that's not including your family who like your
Friends.
pictures, right? Your friends. It's not that. But if you are actively having a community of your ideal client or your target audience, if they are the ones who are engaging with you and you have an audience, then my short answer is yes. And your business and your audience will let you know you need to host an event. So it wouldn't be a question in your mind if you were ready for an event. So an event, I'm talking about including a webinar. For me, it's including a webinar,
That's an
because who's
event.
going to come to your webinar if you don't have an audience? Just saying, I don't care how many, because you can have ads that go out and people can register for your webinar, but you need them to show up.
Yes. Yes.
Because you'll be just talking to an empty room. And how would you feel if you spent all that money just to talk to an empty room? So,
yeah. And that was actually what I was going to say, that along with what Jay said, the willingness to spend their resources. So not just money, but also their time, and maybe even their network for with the intention of attending your event. So if you don't have that, which is why we said not your family, not your friends, because at the end of the day, yeah, they're going to attend to support you, but are they going to make the next move, which ultimately would be to buy, purchase, work with you? No, because they're your family, your friends. Matter of fact, they're going to want a family and friends discount. Just saying. I'm just saying. So that is not who we're talking about. Um,
Exactly.
but yeah, you have to, and a lot of times people won't even take the time to step back and say, realistically, do I have those things, and am I ready? And a lot of times the answer is no. I'm not ready right now.
Mhm.
But you can get ready.
Mhm.
You work with Jay, work with me, figure out what it's going to take in order for you to build that audience so that you can host a webinar, so that you can host that day-long event, those 3-day events. But you have to have an audience. And in order to get that audience, you got to work with people like Jay to create those funnels, which is why funnels is. So I'm about to go on a whole tangent, Jay. So
Oh my goodness. That's another conversation because I saw something today that was like, you need webinar funnels and this and that. If you want to sell this, you
you see
we'll
our
get
face.
into that another time. But I'm just like, people you talking to, no, stop telling them that. But anyway, and they were saying yes and put ads out and oh, yeah. Anywho, so you need an audience. So that's base level. If you don't have an audience, then I think the rest of the stuff that we're probably going to discuss ain't for you. Boo. If you don't have an audience, then yeah, the rest of the stuff really, really won't pertain to you because the answer, are you ready to host an event, would be no.
Right. You can take notes.
Uh, uh,
Like
mm.
you could take notes. And matter of fact, I suggest you take notes. I suggest you bookmark this live, well, this recording, because the things we're going to tell you will help you once you have that audience. But yeah, step number one is have an audience.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, with Kendrick does have an audience.
Good, bad, or indifferent, he does.
Exactly. He does have an audience. And he has a very vocal audience, I believe. Um, so, whenever he put on his halftime show, was he trying to talk to. He was trying to deliver a message to everyone. However, the people who would get it, the people who would look for those uh, hidden eggs, those hidden gems, those are the people he was really talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the people he was really wanting um, to connect with,
And he did,
and he did.
obviously.
Exactly. Exactly. Because he wasn't creating his set list. Okay. So the set list, whether it was Luther, whether it was DNA, whether it was what's another
Humble,
one? Huh?
humble, humble.
Humble. Well, any of those are hits. Those are well-known hits with people who are a part of his audience. So for him to start performing those things, it is like, if you are not into Kendrick or you just know that one song, it's like, what? What was that? What is he saying? I can't hear him. What is he saying? What, what about a left stroke? What about, what happened? What, huh? When is
And why was
he
he
gonna
standing
get
on the
to,
car?
is he gonna perform not like us? Oh, wait a minute, he teased it. No, wait a minute. That would be those who are not a part of his audience. He had a hit. He had to some degree, I don't think it was a subtle message. I think it did hit you over the head. And so anybody could have got that. Um, I mean, yeah, anybody could have got that one message. However, he was specifically talking to his audience, I believe. And so whenever you are thinking about hosting an event, you have to think about your audience. Sure, anyone could attend. Anyone could attend. Like, let's say, for example, if you are a business coach for um, African American women who um, who are investing in startups or something like that. If that's your audience, anyone can join your event. White women can join, Asian women can join, uh, or they can attend. Native American women or indigenous women can join, but specifically for African American women, and what their needs are.
And
So,
challenges, and yes, yes.
exactly. Now, can some of those things women of color experience? Can white women experience? Yeah. But the message would be primarily for that ideal audience that you've marketed to, that the message is designed for. So the same thing with Kendrick. Kendrick had a message that everybody could hear, benefit from,
Understand, if you are
understand.
listening, yes.
Exactly. But he was talking to his audience. This is what I'm trying to say. This is what this has less to do about Drake and more about this.
Right.
And his audience was able to, I can pick up what you're putting down. You
And he
know what I'm
did. And he
saying?
did.
Exactly.
Like, if you really understand, and Jay, I don't know if you said this before we met just now or since, but it was genius, because
Mm-hmm.
what he also did with delivering his message to his audience was that he allowed them to translate to their audience. So
Yes.
now it's not even a matter of, okay, and let's just broadly, I'm in a room right now and there's presumably 10 people can sit in here. If my intention is to deliver a message, and you got to think about this, my message, I am expecting these 10 people to now take what I've given them and give it to their people. uh that's what he did. That's why, for me, it is so many layers of genius that we all can take and say, again, whether you like them or not, you
Mm-hmm.
can take what happened and say, that was smart.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody didn't get it. Matter of fact, if they pan in the audience, some of them were sitting there like,
Mm-hmm.
now, mind you, some of those people are his fans and they were just taking in all the things. Like, unlike us, they couldn't go back and rewatch it like right away.
Right.
Whereas as soon as the game came back on, I'm going back to rewatch that whole halftime show because I'm like, what did he say? What? Oh my God. Like, literally right
Mm-hmm.
afterwards. And so for me, it was like his message was for his audience, but his audience then took it to their people, to their family, their friends, their business. If they're working with clients, and they shared it based on their perspective. And now his halftime show it just exploded, because now it's
Exactly.
all of our interpretation of what it meant and how it would impact us, whether it was social, political, whatever. It was just genius. And so,
Exactly.
you getting to the level of that and thinking about your event, not just on a how much money you want to make, but like, what kind of impact are you trying to deliver so that it's not just you spending the time, the money to create this event, but you want it to be like a residual. You want it to be where, like, you throw a pebble and it just keeps rippling because of that one event. That's, I would assume, your intention, but I might be wrong.
That's a great point. That is a great point, because his Super Bowl halftime show is the most watched halftime show in history. Okay, so I think this is Super Bowl 59. I think it is. I think it's
Yeah,
59.
LIV.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yes.
So then also I want to say halftime shows, because I remember the halftime show was like a little band that came out. It was like, but that was during the 70s. Okay, so let's say 40 years, give or take, of halftime shows. That includes Madonna, that includes Michael Jackson, that includes Prince, that includes J-Lo, that includes Janet Jackson, that includes like
Beyonce, like, let's
right,
go. Let's just keep
Beyonce,
going.
Bruno Mars, Coldplay. These are heavy hitters. These are people who sell out their concerts, and
They're
he surpassed
mainstream. He was they were mainstream, by the way, for those of you who kept
exactly.
saying that he wasn't. Anyway, sorry, Jay.
No, yes. So you have him selling these people out as far as views. So he's covering them, or passing them as far as the most watched, which makes him, which makes the Super Bowl and Jay-Z. I know Jay-Z is looking like a genius right now too. I know he is, but I digress. But to your point about impact, so okay, so the watched views, or the halftime being watched, that people have watched it millions of times after it was broadcasted live. So that's number one. Number two, just think about how many people downloaded or bought his album after
So,
that. Because okay, I'm gonna be honest. This what is it? GXN, I think.
his current one?
Yeah.
Yeah, GNX. Yeah.
GNX, GX, something like that. Hold on. I went ahead. I didn't I had heard some songs on it, like Luther, Pickaboo, some of those things. I heard some of that, and I had downloaded those songs. But okay, look, I just put in K for Kendrick. Okay. And then Kendrick Lamar and SZA. Okay, so those are the first things that come up. But his album GNX, that's the name of it. So think about how many people, because I was one of them, who went and just like downloaded the whole album instead of like a couple of songs. So imagine how that is going to line his pockets. He's going to have the biggest boom in his in his wallet right after, because of that one event.
That was 10 minutes.
One event. And I'm sure that one event didn't cost him, because you're invited to be a part of the halftime. So I don't think the NFL is going to make you pay for that. I think the NFL is going to cover that. So if you think about it, for free, technically, for free, if not being paid to perform, think about how much money he lined up in his pocket
Afterwards. Yep.
because of that one event. So my saying all of that to say about Kyna's point about impact, you want your event to have that ripple effect to where, okay, after the event, well, people can't now attend your event because it's over, but they can start uh, getting on your email list. They
Every
can get on your
time.
email list. Let me start doing that. They can get on your email list. They can start following you. Other products that you have in your offer suite, they can start purchasing that. So if you have like a low ticket course, or if you have you can even have like a replay to certain parts of your event that people can purchase. People can start doing that. So you can have your one event can still have an effect on your business way
Yep.
after that event is over with.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that you have to have an event that is not just about the experience, but it's about the transformation afterwards that people talk about. People do talk about, you know, how wonderful it was, the nice little things they had and all that other stuff, and they'll put it on
Swag bag.
exactly, they'll put it on social and stuff like that. But what hits the most um would be people who are saying, oh my goodness, this information, this insight, this changed me, this the jewels, that these are the things that I'm walking away with. I know you've seen those posts here on social. You've seen them. Kyna's dropping gems, or at this event, or I walked away with this. This changed my life. I was doing this way, but now I'm doing it this way. I can't wait until the next time this event happens. Or, hey, I signed up. The best thing is whenever they have that post that I signed up for whatever the program is at this event,
Absolutely.
or because of this event.
Absolutely.
Those are the things that end up working for your benefit. Those turn into not only long-term clients, but they're your walking advertisement.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Because these people who, going back to Kendrick, the people who are on YouTube or on TV or whatever the case is, these people who are doing the analysis are feeding into either the stream, they're feeding into people watching the Super Bowl halftime again because they're like, oh, I didn't get that. Let me re-watch it to see if I get it this time. So that one event is having a ripple effect that after a week, Kendrick, the NFL are still benefiting from.
Yep. Yep. Serena.
Right. Oh.
SZA. But yes, it's I again, he's like his whole it's living in my head. I was telling Jay that 1 o'clock this morning, I woke up and said, no, you can't keep taking up space in my head. And I was, be humble. Did that at 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, come on, no, like go to sleep. but that's what you want. Like, as much as we're laughing about it, you want to have experiences. You want to have the transformation, so that days, weeks, months, we still don't know. We still do not know what the impact of his 10, 15-minute show will do a month from now, 6 months from, a year from now. We don't know. And so, going back to what Jay said initially about the audience, you have to understand your audience. And basically, and I'm going to say, and what your audience will do in response to your performance. And so, did he know that it will be this big? Don't know if he could guess that. But I'm sure at this point, he's like, my intention was to give them me, give them my genius. And I did that.
Right.
And I did that in a way that only artists can do. If you're an artist, you know that your message is going, you may have the intention of your message being this, but your audience is going to take what you put out there and create their own message, all based off of your performance, off of your coaching, Albert, your consulting. And so, for me, it had me looking internally. And I'm always talking about, you got to be intentional. You got to be intentional. And you'll hear me say that a lot, because I am. I don't have time. I don't have the space. I don't have the energy to waste time, to waste money. Because time is valuable. I'm of an age, not that I'm old, but I'm of an age that now I can't afford to just be out here doing things willy-nilly, as I used to say. I can't. Like, I just can't keep trying stuff. I have to be intentional about my message, about what I'm doing, about who I'm partnering with. Because what is it, Jay? 10, 15, how long? However many years we've been in this game, we're not new to this.
Right.
And so we have to be intentional. We have to know, like, this is the intention of what we want to put out there. And I think that's also why I'm just excited about, what we've decided to do again. Because I just know you and I are both in a different space, and we know that we can make an impact, make the transformation necessary for a lot of the coaches that we see out there that we know are struggling. Like, as much as you may think we don't see it, Jay and I, we see it. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, she needs, or he needs, and I'm going to say she, but she needs this, and this, and she doesn't have it. And as much as she's trying to paint the pretty picture, it's not ready. So yeah, we'll probably be talking about this for a long, long time.
Right. and you know what? I would even say, I will move to another point, that you could have been successful at hosting an event once. However, if you haven't learned anything from that event, if you try to replicate exactly what you did to have a successful event, that's the wrong thing to do. I'm gonna say it, because if you haven't learned from the previous event to tweak something, to update something, if you're just like, okay, this is how I feel about templates.
They're good to a point.
They're good to a point. They should be like springboards. This is to give you an idea. This is to give you a place to start. You should adjust it to fit your audience, to fit your brand, to fit your business, to fit your vision. If you're just like, okay, I'm gonna copy, paste, and just put my words, my color on it, and then send it, yeah, that's not always going to stick. And if you are going to copy and paste what you did on a previous launch for an event, you know, copy, paste it, and you're just changing the dates, you should have learned something from that previous launch, whether it's wording,
Mm,
messaging,
mm,
whether it's okay, people responded. If people responded lower on your content on your page, then look at what was there. Why did they respond and start? And there's a way to figure that out, by the way. Why did they respond to sign up there? Or why, if they scrolled all the way down, why did it take all of that content for them to convert?
mm,
Figure that out.
mm,
And then see if you can convert them early on into the page, because that's going to save you money. How and why? Your copywriter, if you figure out what the copy needs to be, they don't need to write all of that copy. And guess what? You don't have to pay them for all of that copy.
mm,
They can take that. It's you need to have learned something from that previous launch. Images. What images did they respond to? Were they interested in different co-hosts? Uh, those things. You need to have learned something because, give you an example, a, a common client, let's call her Kim. No, let's call her Wendy. Let's call her Wendy. So Wendy um, had a successful launch. Successful meaning that people showed up. People even paid for her signature program. So what did she do? She copied, paste.
mm.
The second time, didn't go so well. Her team had insight as to why it didn't go so well, why she didn't have as many signups as the first launch, why as many people didn't convert as the first launch. However, she wanted to do it again, and she copy and pasted again. And she had even lower turnout than the second. You have to, this is also a testament that you need to listen to your team.
Oh, yeah.
That's a different topic. But but also you need to have learned something. And if you're at the point where you have a team, so if you are actually launching an event, you do have a team because you're at that phase, going back to those 4 business phases, having an event, you've gone past the build, you've gone past the strengthen, you're at the grow or scale phase. So you have gone past the first 2. So you already have clients, you already have an audience, you already have people saying that they're looking forward to an event from you. That's not your family, not your friends. Okay.
Mm,
So you do have a team. If you're not listening to your team who are able to say, hey, we saw these things. These are the things that people who attended said. These are the things that we're picking up from the marketing, how people are reacting. If you're not listening to that, you are doing yourself more of a disservice than you could ever imagine.
mm, mm,
And if you are copying and pasting and not learning anything and making adjustments, that does and please understand, I'm not saying you need to do a whole new sales page and you have to
Revamp.
do, right, not saying that, but you can't put out the same thing, the same testimonials, the same wording, the same image, the same. You can't do that, because those people who didn't attend the first time will be like, it's the same thing. So
Mm-hmm.
if you didn't convince me or convert me to, if you didn't convert me, I'm going to start like not using my thumbs. If you didn't convert me the first time, then why do you think you're going to convert me the second time whenever you're using the same language, the same image, the same stuff? So,
It's just not going to happen. It's just not
exactly.
going to happen. And let me say, to pick up some of what off of what Jay is saying, it's also detrimental to you, because even when you get people after you not listening to your team, and you, Wendy, actually get people to enroll in whatever you're selling, they're telling you why they signed up. And so if the premise of you, and let's just say that you're not a startup business, so this particular person, the whole premise of what they were selling was not for startups, but what she was getting were a bunch of startups.
Exactly.
They were nowhere near ready for what she ultimately sold them into. And so what you think is going to happen month one, after month two, they're going to disappear. And actually, they are going to get mad, because wait a minute, you told me during the event that I was going to see X, Y, and Z by this point, and I haven't seen it. You sold me a bill of goods.
Exactly.
And the reality is, she did. She did sell them a bill of goods, because they had no business signing up for her ultimate offer. Let me just say too, so Jay, you'll also notice that Jay talks a lot of what Jay refers to is before the event. Like, we talked about adjusting content, adjusting your web page, adjusting things. But I'm also say that when you're actually in the event, you still need to be thinking about where you're going to adjust. This is what I'm talking about. People ultimately have a short attention span, whatever that attention span is. And you have to know that during your workshop, during your sessions, during that time of the month, whatever that is, where people fall asleep, where they fall off. And if you're not paying attention to that, you're going to get to the point where people fall off and they never come back. And so you have to adjust to say, okay, so maybe I need to do, shake this up a little bit and do some kind of activity. I think about being in a classroom where a teacher, she or he is 20, 30 minutes of teaching, like you're sitting there, you're listening, and there's no engagement. The good teachers will not only engage their audience, but they'll shake things up. So after 15 minutes, it's like, oh, let's get up and do an activity. Let's, let me get your feedback. So they're adjusting, because they realize that I need to keep my audience's attention. If I don't, they're not going to hear my offer. They're not going to hear the key points that I'm trying to make that's actually impactful for what they need to learn and do. And again, they're looking like, well, I didn't get what I thought I was supposed to get from attending this event. Yeah, they missed it. They fell asleep. So you have to adjust, especially those of you who are newer to your coaching business, newer to doing events. There's a lot of reflecting that has to happen in order for you to continue. I remember telling this woman, she'll tell you to this day, the one thing that I remember from Kyna is that I needed to perfect my craft. And what she did, when I told her that, she was like, what does that mean? That means number one, you can't be all over the place. That's number one. But number two, that thing that you're doing is it is sort of rinse and repeat, in the sense that you're doing the same thing over and over again, but you're getting better because you're adjusting each and every time. And so if you're not doing that, if you have a template business, Lord help you. But if you have a template business, we can almost guarantee you're not going to be around long at all, because your audience is going to pick up what you're putting down and move on to somebody else who could give them substance. And that's just me being real.
And you're right. And to be honest, templated businesses, your audience, the people who connect with you, your vibe are different than someone else's. I mean, you can see that with McDonald's, Burger King, Carl
Shoot,
Jr.
you and I, like
exactly.
we connect, but we have different vibes. And so,
exactly.
Yeah, so like even just right now, you can see that my vibe's a little different than Jay. Like Jay, and I talked about this before, Jay does the makeup and I do not. Like you can look. No, I don't do none of that. Like I don't even have my little aquaphor on my lips right now. But that's me. But we still connect. We still have more things in common than we do different.
Right.
So yeah,
you're right. So look for so exactly what Kyna says. You have to learn something before, during, after.
yes.
And I think the after is just as important as the before.
Absolutely.
It is
Absolutely
just as important, because that's whenever you're going to be able to take all that information, analyze it, digest it, and then put those things into action for your next event. And if I don't believe in failure if you've learned something. If you've learned something. So if your first event didn't go as planned, people did fall asleep, people did miss, okay, fine. Okay, fine. Address it, own it, address it. And then your next event, it should be different than the first.
Yep.
It's not, okay, well, I have the same outline or have the same talk. I'm doing it the same way. I'm just getting louder. I'm just emphasizing. Like, did you really learn anything?
Nah, it's the same message.
You ain't learned anything. But okay, so the question, are you ready to host an event? It depends. No, if you do not have an audience, if you're not keyed into your audience, if you do not have clients, if you are new to having a business, if you're in that build phase, if you're in that strengthening phase, where you're just getting clients, where you're just getting an audience to engage with you. No,
not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
You need to have people who are able to respond, convert, and also you have to be ready for that before, during, and after. You have to be ready for that.
Yep.
Because, like I said, the after is just as important as the beginning. Most people after the event, they're like, okay, I'm tired. It's over. Thank goodness. But that's when some heavy work comes
Yes.
in,
Yes.
especially if it's an event after a webinar. After the webinar, if you're selling a high ticket program, now you gotta deliver on that high ticket program. So, where's your time to sit down and regroup
Celebrate.
after that? It's like, no, it keeps going. So you have to be ready for that. Like Kyna also mentioned, the impact. Can you deliver impact? Can not only to offer a transformation, but for your stuff to ripple after the event,
Mm-hmm.
to where people talk about you, to that people want to be in your world after the event. Um, are you ready for that? Do you have the ability to assess what happened, make the adjustments, and then move on after that event? Are you able to do that? Do you have the team that's going to be your eyes and ears? Do
Mm.
you have the skill of humility
Mm.
to know that you don't know everything? Yes.
Sit down.
Sit down
Be humble.
and listen to your team, the people that you have paid to be your eyes and ears. Do you have that? Do you have that skill set? If you don't, then good that you're honest with yourself. Work on it.
Yes.
If
Absolutely.
you need to be right, if you need to have it your way, you're not ready for an event, because you need to be able to take criticism, feedback, constructive criticism, um, reviews, surveys, because that's also going to inform you for the next event. So you have to be able to take that in, and make adjustments as well. So there are a lot of different factors that go into whether you're ready to host an event. And I hope we provided some insight to let you know whether you are or not. I hope we provided some information, some questions, a point of view, especially from those who have hosted events, from people who have been the implementers of events, who have been the team members to run these events.
Don't remind me.
Um, that's where we're coming from. So we have done the whole 360. Yeah, we have been there, done that. So we're, I hope the point of view that we have offered gives you something to think about.
Absolutely.
And if you want to continue this conversation, then you can either DM me or comment if you're watching the replay. You can either do that for myself, and I am J Black and Co here on Instagram. For Kyna is simply Kyna B. Um, and in this post, she will be tagged, so you can follow her and you can DM her if you want to extend this conversation further, and continue to come back every week, Thursdays, 12 p.m. Eastern. We're bringing you this unfiltered truth that gives you a 360, because we've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, sweatshirt, everything. We got the whole swag bag on everything within a coaching business. So we're going to be discussing various topics, and I think, let me just do a plug for next week. Pull up the wrong things. So for next week, we're going to be talking about our mastermind still relevant. Talking about events. So our mastermind's still relevant right now. We're going to talk about it. So I hope you come back next week, 12 p.m. Eastern. Anything you want to say, Kyna, before we leave?
Nope. Hit us up. You got questions? Hit us up, please. Like we're here to
Exactly.
answer.
Exactly. Oh, if you are the person that's like, okay, you need to do some internal work, if you're like,
I'm your
okay,
girl.
I am at that point, I've checked off yes, 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 but I need someone to help me put the event together, to create the strategy, to do all the things behind the scene.
Look, her.
So that's how you know who to hit up. All
Yes.
right, y'all. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. You could have been doing anything in the world, but you chose to spend this time with us, and we are eternally grateful and thankful for it. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one. See you next week. Bye.